Dodge this.
So it's been a minute since I shot many videos, since I've spoken on camera while driving from the car. Those of you who are old school, long time listeners and viewers know that I used to do rants from the road back in the day, where I would drive around and do videos, me ranting about a subject while I was driving. And I'm back. I may not be doing them every day. I don't know. I just decided to shoot this today. Finally got some internets so I can upload this. For those of you that don't know, I sold my house in suburbia where I was, and I not only do I talk the talk, but I walk the walk. I sold my house in suburbia and found a house out in the woods and moved out to the woods. And that's that. Got chickens, pretty self-sufficient except for electricity. Have a well, have a septic system. The only thing I get in from the outside world right now is, well, obviously I go pick up food and stuff, but electricity. Working on getting a filtration system set up and a few other things for my well pump. Right now we drink reverse osmosis water, so I do have to go get my drinking water off-site, but I don't have to. I could drink the well water. It's not that bad, but I want to filter everything. It's just how I roll. So, I've been away. And I was back on KBS, the Kev Baker Show, for a couple months in the beginning of the year, going at the end of 2019 into 2020 and into the spring. But the Rona took care of that because we were talking about that subject every time I went on his broadcast, and because of the new rules here on the internet where you can't say anything about anything that's going on anymore. What's freedom of what? What's freedom of speech? So you can't say anything anymore. You can't talk about anything. You have to use code. Otherwise the algorithm will ban you. And his channel got demonetized for a month. And it was because of the subject matter and because of me being on his show talking about it. And I'm sure I violated 100 other rules that the algorithm has by saying, anything about any event at all in history that happens to be perpetrated or connected to any of these same people that we talk about with this agenda of a one world governmental new world order. So I got his channel demonetized, not purposely, not like I did it, but I was the lightning rod, so to speak, that brought the hammer down. And Kev relies on that income. And I was not about to continue to cause him any issues, so when I found out he got demonetized, I just said, man, I won't come on your show and destroy everything you've built. I'm very YouTube unfriendly, have been for years, even before all this algorithmic crap came out, where people were getting their channels banned left and right. And this mass banning of channels, by the way, is exactly what we warned about. The alternative media, people at federaljack.com, myself, all the guys I worked with at FedJack, Alex wrote articles, Johnny Narco, he runs Dark Docs now. That's not his real name, by the way. Johnny Narco is his pen name. He runs Dark Docs. If you go over to Dark Docs, just type in DARKDO. I think it's DO. Is it DOX? I think it's DOX. And it's darkdocs.net. Or it might be darkdocs.com. He's going to kill me. Anyway, just look up Dark Docs. It's his internet archive. There's some of my shows are up there. tons of documentaries that I gave him to put up there in digitized format. This is an old school game, ladies and gentlemen. We've been doing this a long time. But I digress. All these people that talked about this for years, and other great people. I mean, everything Charlotte Iserby talked about, the dumbing down of America. When Charlotte used to come on, we would talk about this. And when she'd go on other broadcasts, she'd talk about the same thing. She wrote her book, The Deliberate Dumbing Down of America. Well, what do you see right now? The deliberately dumbed down Americans acting exactly how their masters want them to act, fighting amongst each other while their masters retain complete control. Newsflash, we're all slaves. I'm sure that's going to get me banned or flagged or trigger somebody. How dare you say that? It's the truth. Can you not go to work? Can you not work for 10 hours a day? I mean, that's not what technically, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of God-fearing people out there, religious people out there. Pretty sure if you believe in God or some sentient, omnipotent force in the universe that's created us, right? Do you really think that omnipotent, sentient force would be like, I'm going to create humankind in order for them to work 10 to 12 hours a day to pay their bills to bankers? What? What? So yeah, we're debt slaves. You can't not work and hang out with your kids all day, because if you did, you wouldn't be able to pay your bills. Well, that's just how the economy works. Well, that's not how the economy has to work, and that's not some sort of socialist utopia talk. I'm not even going to get into that. It's a whole different side video. My point is, we are not destined to work 10 to 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, sometimes 7 days a week, just to pay money for loans so we can have a home or we can have a vehicle. And most of the time you have to have a car just to get back and forth to that job so you can pay all your debts. See how it just continues, the hamster wheel? So everyone's a debt slave. And while everyone's arguing amongst each other, the people that really run things are still running things. In all of the statues that got torn down, I was surprised that they tore the Albert Pike statue down. When they started ripping monuments down a couple years ago, I said that on air. Well, if you really want to make change, go to Washington, D.C. and rip down the statue of Albert Pike. Hey, they did. So good on them for that. But still, did ripping down any of those statues or changing school names, did that really elicit change? No. Made people feel better, but it didn't do anything to change a thing. It's all smoke and mirrors. It's to appease you. Some of the anger is definitely justified, but what you see are controlled. How do I put this? Well, I guess you could say controlled anger. The anger is real, but the people that manipulate society are purposely getting everybody pissed off. They're getting everybody to fight with each other. They're doing this on purpose. And while everybody's fighting amongst each other, no one's paying attention that the agenda keeps rolling along. Well, Trump's stopping it. Trump might be trying to stop a few things. And yeah, he's the only president that hasn't really started a new war in a very long time. So good on him for that, but that's one of the reasons they hate him. He's still under their control to a certain extent, but see that they lose power the more they belittle him. The more they belittle him, the less he's going to care about doing maybe what he's supposed to do. I mean, after all, he's just an actor. The president is really a show place. It's not... the president does things and makes decisions, but he's not the most powerful man in the world. That's just not how it works. And anyone that understands politics and global politics and how things work, really, you're called a conspiracy theorist because they expect you to believe that conspiracy means fake. Conspiracy means two or more people getting together to do something bad. So if you had two or more people that were involved in the government in one way, shape, or form, getting together to do something bad, because it benefits them all mutually, kind of almost sounds like organized crime. But yet the mafia isn't a quote-unquote conspiracy theory. Yet the government, for a period of time, would have told you that it was. Remember when J. Edgar Hoover, remember him? Told Congress that there's absolutely no truth to the fact that the mafia exists, the mob is fake. It's because they had dirt on him. And Clyde Tolson is like number 2 guy. They had pictures of the two of them dressed in drag. Now, by today's standards, nobody would really care, although if you're a politician, it might cause a scandal, but it's still 2020, it's not that big of a deal. When Hoover was head of the FBI, it was a huge deal. So what did he tell Congress? Hey, there's no such thing as the mafia. But there is. I mean, we all know about it. There's by this point, in 2020, I mean, there's plenty of movies out there. Goodfellas, the Godfather series, anything, The Sopranos. There's a whole friggin' show on HBO about it. But the government told you that was a conspiracy theory. The government told you it was fake at one point. That's fake. They didn't call it a conspiracy theory because that pejorative label didn't exist in its current form. That little ditty came about from the CIA after the Kennedy assassination. And everybody misuses it today like crazy. Well, it's not a conspiracy. Things really are going on. Well, then it is a conspiracy. Conspiracy doesn't mean fake or aliens or ghosts or UFOs, okay? Could there be a conspiracy to cover up UFOs? Yeah, sure. Could there be a conspiracy of people to hide the fact that a house may be haunted because they want to sell it and they want to get away from it because of all the problems they've endured? Sure. Because that would be 2 or more people conspiring to not tell the real estate agent, right? If they were going to sell a haunted house. Or, politicians conspiring. They've been caught time and time again. If you and I, anyone out there sees this video, if you and me, you and anybody else went and you wanted to go rob a 7-Eleven, I always use this as an example. Say, hey, Popeye, let's go rob a 7-Eleven. Yeah, all right, cool, sure. We come up with a plan, we go do it, we get caught, we get arrested. One of the things they're going to charge us with is conspiracy to commit robbery. Now, it'll be either commit armed robbery, whatever. The point is, it'll be conspiracy to commit robbery. You know why? Because conspiracy is a criminal charge. Because it means 2 or more people getting together to do something nefarious. I mean, you can look it up in the dictionary if they haven't changed the word yet, because they are changing definitions of words. I warned about this years ago when I first noticed it. Another thing, people, I don't think they're doing that. Now everyone's like, oh my God, they're changing the definitions of words. Yeah, they are. It's not fake. And yes, it is a conspiracy. When people say it's not a conspiracy, it is a conspiracy. It doesn't mean fake. Conspiracies exist. And if you have a theory that there's a conspiracy going on, that doesn't make you a kook. It makes you a free thinker. Because anyone that thinks in their right mind that conspiracies can only happen at a low level, so low-level criminals can conspire to rob a 7-Eleven, but once the criminals get to a certain caliber, they don't longer conspire anymore. So it becomes fake. You can't have it that way. That's not how it works. At all. At all. The word conspiracy means, again, 2 or more people getting together to pull off or devise a nefarious plot. Okay? Go look up the definition. Doesn't mean fake. Doesn't mean aliens. It doesn't mean any of that crap. The word gets misused, and they use it because they want you to look at anyone that says, well, the government could be doing this, or the Democrats could be doing that. Oh, that's so fake. That's you and your conspiracy theories. It's a pejorative label. It's to throw you off, ladies and gentlemen. It's one of the reasons I believe Trump was allowed to be president or put in there. Because we all know they're not elections, they're selections. So why? Well, everyone's so busy hating him that the people behind the scenes could do whatever they want. And nobody's going to be paying attention to that because they're going to be paying attention to, we have to stop Trump. And then anything that Trump opposes, the people that hate him are going to just push with vitriolic fervor. Yeah, we need to do this because Trump doesn't like it. That means it must be good. And you could inject anything into that in front of that statement, and that's how they'll do it. Tribal mentality. My guy versus your guy. And you know what? The country was starting to think outside that. They were starting to think outside the box. And within the past few years, everyone's gotten drawn back in, and I've said this 100 times. It started with Ferguson. It's where they changed the narrative to, it's black cops, black people getting killed by racist white cops, and that's the only problem. No, the problem is police brutality as a whole and militarized police. But that's not what's brought up. It's racism, 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 racism. Racism is a red herring, folks. How about that? Racism is a red herring. It's not real. It's fake. Does the problem exist? When I say it's fake, I mean the problem exists, yes, for sure. Racism exists. But the problem, when they started ranting and raving about it when Obama was in office, was absolute not what it is today. The problems we had, the race relation problems we had, were nowhere near what they are today. They're what they are today because of what they have done. Okay? The media, the people with their agenda, behind the scenes, whatever you want to call them, okay? That's where the problems come from. They started this years ago. And in all this time, they've now gotten people who used to be against the police state on the side of the police state. Because the other side of the coin is violence and rioting. See how it's done? I've been warning about this. I've been preaching about this, but I don't get much airtime anymore. My channel gets no views. My YouTube channel, it doesn't matter. I mean, my videos get views here and there, but I mean, my stuff, I can put up a new video, and it'll be blocked or age restricted. I did a whole video, Martin Luther King Jr., about the power of nonviolence when Antifa and all this stuff started getting violent years ago, a couple years ago, about two and a half years ago. And it got blocked. It got blocked and for copyrighted speech, for the I Have a Dream speech, part of what I used in the video. I had to fight it, and by the time it got unlocked, they just put a parental restriction on it. But the damage was done. Nobody saw it. Didn't matter. So, it's one of the reasons I haven't been able to shoot videos. I mean, my internet sucks where I live, because I live in the country, so I have, crappy internet. I have to use cell phone internet. But even if I pre-record stuff and put it up, I'm blocked to the point where it gets no views, no one sees it. I could spread it out on all social media, people could pass it out, and it'll still show it. The counter stops at 300 views. So even if it's getting seen, I don't know. All my old stuff is still up. Just go to rabbithole.radio. So rabbithole.radio. I have a .radio domain. rabbithole.radio. You can download all the old shows. I still have some stuff I got to add up there. But we'll see if this video gets out. Just my thoughts, but I'm where I have to be right now, and I got to get out because I'm on a time crunch. Maybe I'll shoot a follow-up. The point is, I'm going to have to do a whole show about this to explain it. It's too in-depth. It really is. But Trump's the perfect reality TV show president, even if he doesn't know he is. Even if he thinks he's fighting the system, the people that manipulate society and control everything, they understand on a higher level. They're the ones playing 4D chess. So, I mean, Trump might be cleaning things up in what he considers to be the problem area, but the president really doesn't run things. There's people above him. They're the ones that are resisting him. Or maybe they're not. Maybe they're using him, like I said. Maybe he's such a lightning rod that everybody's paying attention to him and they're not paying attention to the agenda. And it also gets the gun-loving crowd that was facing off Remember Lavoy Finicum? Remember the people that were facing off with the government not too many years ago? They're now out backing the government and backing the cops against rioters. See how that's done? See how things are flipped? The people we're dealing with, the controllers, they're much smarter than we give them credit for. They play dumb. Remember that. I'll see y'all soon. I gotta shoot more videos. I got too much to say. Too little time. Love y'all. The message is still the same. Be the change. Go out and do positive stuff. Love one another. Be good to each other. Especially now, this world needs that. Anyway, I'm out.
Look, what you dealing with now is a case of tyrannical power. The kind of power that could bring 2 buildings down in an hour and knock a third one down to the ground by the afternoon. Give you no answers, but tell you the movie's coming out soon. And then tell you some Arabs that just finished cutting the boxes and decided to take some planes full of passengers hostage.